my previous video, I guided us through the highways and byways of the development of the term digital literacy. Here, I want to move us further from the abstract to the concrete, or in other words, from concept and theory to practice. We have kick-started this journey already by thinking about the processes embodied by the term digital literacy. As we saw, digital literacy is a rich label that encompasses a whole set of practices. Importantly, these practices share a critical aspect, thus drawing on ideas of critical literacy and critical thinking. To be active and responsible participants, or netizens, means three things. Number one, to continually look to gain a basic understanding of a new area. Number two, to then work through the analysis and evaluation parts of the cognitive taxonomy. And number three, to then think about how we can place ourselves as positive contributors and creators within the online world for the benefit of all. To practice digital literacy is to practice netizenship. The next steps in shifting from theory to practice are to think about how we can build on our existing knowledge and practice, whilst keeping an eye on the particular opportunities and challenges our digital world presents us with. Here, I want to talk about the foundation blocks education systems already have in place and outline how DLLE will help to build on these. This is the key first step to thinking about our own individual starting points for digital literacy and about how we can then bring digital literacy into the classroom, seminar room or lecture hall. Digital literacy sounds new and daunting, but in fact, it should simply be seen as building on and feeding back into what we learn and teach in any classroom. As well as having been involved with university-level humanities courses, my main exposure has been to curricula as outlined for schools in England. I will take a snippet of this as an example to demonstrate what I mean. In the curriculum outlined for what should be taught for 11 to 14-year-olds, we find English and history and what is until this point been called personal, social and health education, amongst other subjects. In English, students are expected to understand and critically evaluate texts. In history, students are expected to understand how different types of historical sources are used rigorously to make historical claims. In PSHE, students are expected to understand how to be a discerning consumer of information online. Don't these descriptions sound very familiar? That notion of critically evaluating in English and the reference to types of sources and information resonate closely with what we have discovered on our digital literacy concept journey so far. Indeed, the PSHE description indicates that elements of our broader understanding of digital literacy should already exist in classrooms. This brief glimpse highlights the overlap between what we ordinarily label school subjects or disciplines and digital literacy. In other words, digital literacy encourages cross-disciplinary activity. As a practice, it grows out of these subjects, and, as I want to underline, should be seen as feeding back into them. To practice digital literacy is absolutely to evaluate the use and presentation of information, especially, of course, online. As Miller and Bartlett also remind us, however, there is a key element we need to add. That is specific understanding of how our digital world functions. We have kick-started this practical journey in this module through our summary history of the development of the digital world and the snapshot views of what it has come to contain, that is media reinvented and media invented, amongst other things, as well as by placing that critical element at the heart of our study. We will be continuing with this journey in the ensuing modules: digital creators and creations, digital consumers, digital teaching and learning. I will come on to explore the relevance of these areas in relation to opportunities and challenges in the next video as I move us further from theory into practice. For now, I want to underline the importance of us maintaining a connection between digital literacy and the subjects or disciplines we already learn and teach. We should maintain a symbiotic relationship between the two. In other words, while subjects and disciplines feed into digital literacy, we should keep thinking about how digital literacy can feed back into and reinvigorate learning and teaching of conventional subjects. What links can you see between the subjects or disciplines taught and learnt in your region? How could they feed into digital literacy, and how could digital literacy feed back into them? Over to you.